Browns head coach Todd Monken notes that Shedeur Sanders has been in the building a bunch the last few months, working out. Dillon Gabriel, as far as he's aware, has not. It seems like every single thing Browns media comes out and reports doesn't reflect what's happening in reality.
Dillon Gabriel trade rumors reunite after Browns head coach calls him out. And this time, it doesn't feel like a rumor. One comment, one name, and suddenly everything changed. A head coach didn't just speak. He exposed something no one was supposed to notice. While one quarterback was praised for showing up, another was quietly called out in front of everyone. And now the biggest question in Cleveland isn't who's QB1, it's whether Dillon Gabriel was already out before the competition even began. And it all started with one answer. During a routine media session, Todd Monken was asked a simple question. How do you decide QB1 going into off-season workouts? A normal question. A standard answer expected. But what came next wasn't normal.
I wouldn't say they're going to be evenly dispersed, but we'll definitely disperse them to give ourselves a chance to at least evaluate who we have on the roster, whoever that might be, as we go through the offseason.
Aren't going to be divided evenly, so I assume like somebody's going to get more reps without, looking at Deshaun's prior film or knowing how they're fit in your offense. How do you decide who is kind of QB1, tentatively to start the offseason workouts?
By basically what we've seen in the past and where the year ended last year.
So does that mean Shedeur gets the bulk of the reps?
I'm not ready to say that yet. I just said the reps can't be divided up evenly. There's no chance it can be divided up evenly.
Monken responded calmly. By basically what we've seen in the past and where the year ended last year, nothing unusual there. But then, almost casually, he added something that would change everything. The only man that hasn't been in the building, as far as I'm aware, is Dillon Gabriel. Just like that, no buildup, no hesitation, just a direct statement. And in the NFL, coaches don't say things like that by accident. He could have praised Shedeur Sanders without mentioning Gabriel. He could have kept it general. He could have avoided names completely. But he didn't. He chose to say it, specifically. And that's where the controversy exploded. Because this wasn't just information, it was a message. In a league where coaches carefully control narratives, every word matters. And when a head coach publicly points out that one quarterback hasn't been around, while praising another for showing up, that's not neutral, that's separation. Fans immediately picked up on it. Why say his name? Why call him out like that? Is he already out? Even analysts started questioning the intent behind it. Because here's the reality. Being absent from the facility doesn't automatically mean a player isn't working. But perception decides everything. And right now, the perception was brutal. While Shedeur Sanders was being painted as the hard-working, committed competitor, Dillon Gabriel was suddenly being viewed as the opposite. Fair or not, that narrative was already taking shape. And once a narrative like that starts in the NFL, it rarely stops. Because what followed next wasn't just reaction. It was a complete shift in how fans, media, and even the team viewed Dillon Gabriel. The moment Todd Monken's comments went public, everything changed. What was once a quiet quarterback competition suddenly became a full-blown debate. Fans didn't hesitate. Social media lit up with reactions, theories, and frustration. Why isn't Gabriel there? Does he even want the job? Is this already Shedeur's team? The questions came fast, but the answers, they weren't so clear. Because almost immediately, people started noticing something deeper. This wasn't just about attendance. This was about narrative. For months, Shedeur Sanders had been under constant scrutiny. Critics questioned his attitude, his work ethic, his leadership. Some even went as far as attacking his character beyond football. But now, that narrative was flipping in real time. Now, the reports were different. Now it was, he's been in the building. He's working with coaches. He's showing commitment. And suddenly, the same media that once doubted him had nothing negative to say about his effort. At the same time, Dillon Gabriel became the center of silence. No reports defending him. No insiders clarifying his situation. No context. Just one statement, repeating over and over again. He hasn't been in the building. That silence, it made things worse. Because in today's NFL media landscape, if nobody is speaking up for you, the assumption becomes reality. Fans even started questioning the credibility of Browns reporters. How did nobody report this earlier? Are they even connected to the team? Or are they choosing what to say?
I'm assuming it would be Deshaun Watson just because he has that experience. So maybe that gives him the edge, but right, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Based on how things went last year, but you're not ready to say Shedeur is the guy starting.
It's a little confusing, and I don't know why they just won't come out and say, yeah, Shedeur. Maybe as in a little bit of but maybe they don't want to do that because then they want him to earn.
When it comes to the quarterback position, if they're being coy, they don't know.
It created a deeper controversy, not just about Gabriel, but about the entire information system around the team. And in the middle of all that noise, one belief started growing louder. This wasn't a fair competition. This was already decided, because if one quarterback is being praised publicly, while another is being called out, then maybe, just maybe, the battle isn't as open as it seems. And once that idea took hold, the next phase was inevitable: trade rumors. It didn't take long. The moment doubt entered the conversation, trade rumors followed. Dillon Gabriel's name, once quietly sitting in the background, suddenly became the center of speculation. Is he getting traded? Did he expect to be moved already? Is that why he's not in the building? The theories started stacking up, because when a quarterback isn't getting reps, and a coach openly questions his presence, that's usually not a good sign. And Todd Monken only added more fuel to the fire. When asked about distributing reps, he made something very clear: the reps can't be divided up evenly. There's no chance of that. That statement might sound strategic, but in reality, it changes everything. Because in a multi-quarterback room, reps equal opportunity. And if reps aren't equal, then neither is the competition. Now think about it. If Shedeur Sanders is already in the building, already building chemistry, already earning trust, and Dillon Gabriel isn't even being seen, then where does that leave him? Even roster logic started working against him. Too many quarterbacks, too few reps, too much pressure. Some even speculated potential landing spots, but quickly shut them down. Teams already had full QB rooms. Others weren't looking for depth, which made the situation even more complicated. Because if Gabriel is being pushed out, but has nowhere to go, then what exactly is happening behind the scenes? That's when fans started using stronger words. Disrespected, thrown under the bus, already done. And honestly, it didn't feel like an overreaction anymore. Because in the NFL, you don't publicly separate a player like that unless something bigger is going on. And that raises the biggest question of all: is this really about performance? Or something deeper? Todd Monken didn't say Gabriel was a bad quarterback. He didn't criticize his talent. He didn't say he can't compete. He just said he hasn't been there. And sometimes, what's not said is more powerful than what is. Because that one statement allows everyone else, fans, media, analysts, to fill in the blanks. And once those blanks are filled, the outcome becomes inevitable. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders' story continues to rise. From being doubted, to being praised for his work ethic, to being consistently present in the building. Even small details, like Monken mentioning that Sanders comes into his office often, add to the narrative. That's not just a quarterback. That's someone building trust. And in a QB competition, trust might matter more than talent. So now the conversation isn't just about who's better. It's about who the organization believes in. And right now, that belief doesn't seem to include Dillon Gabriel. But the final question still remains: was this ever truly a competition? So here we are, a few comments, one offseason, and suddenly, Dillon Gabriel's future is uncertain. But the real question isn't just about him, it's about the system. Was this handled the right way? Or was this a calculated move? Because if you look at the timeline, it almost feels too clean. One quarterback praised, one quarterback questioned, one narrative rising, one narrative disappearing, and in the middle of it all, silence. No defense, no clarification, no correction, just momentum. And momentum in the NFL is everything. Maybe this is strategy. Maybe the Browns are trying to push competition, create urgency, force players to respond. Or maybe the decision has already been made, because when a head coach publicly separates you from the rest of the team, that's not just coaching, that's positioning. And now Dillon Gabriel is left in the middle of it, fighting not just for reps, but for relevance. So the question becomes simple. Was he ever truly in the race? Or was this just the moment the world finally realized he wasn't? Because sometimes in the NFL, the loudest message is the one you never expected to hear. And just like that, one comment may have changed everything. Dillon Gabriel's future, uncertain. The Browns' QB battle, already shifting. And the narrative, completely flipped. But what do you think? Was this a fair call-out or a clear sign he's on the way out? Drop your thoughts below, because this story is far from over. And if you want more deep emotional breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe.